Oh, hi. What time is it? Sorry, do you find it difficult to get out of bed on a Sunday morning these days now that there's no church? Or is it just me? Give me a moment. Hi, sorry, I'm with you now. I'm Ian. Welcome to ReFresh Online. You can't come to church, so we're coming to you. We're literally, metaphorically and technically out of the box. So, this is where you live. Interesting. That's one of the best things about this technological Zoom age, isn't it? Getting to see in people's houses. As usual, we've got Sue and Varian with us. They probably want to say hi.
Hi, I'm Sue and it's really good that you can be with us.
Good morning, fellow refreshers. I hope you're all well and healthy and looking forward to this morning's service.
If you've been to ReFresh before, you'll know we usually build our services around film clips. We can't really do that here, although we have made our own movie. But instead of films, we're going to be using books, and Sue's going to be introducing that topic later on. But otherwise, all the essential components of ReFresh are here, although in a slightly different way. If you haven't been to ReFresh before, I could tell you what ReFresh is normally like, but actually this isn't a normal ReFresh, so it won't be anything like that. This is the new normal online ReFresh. So what's going to happen? Well, what do we do at ReFresh? We like to give people things to think about. What we don't do is tell people what to think. We don't tell people how to think. We just try to encourage you to think. Your opinions are as valid as anybody else's. So feel free to explore God and Christianity in the way that works for you, and we hope that we can help you to do that in some way. Now, normally at ReFresh we would start by inviting people to have a coffee. If you haven't already got a coffee, now might be a good time to hit the pause button and make sure you've got one. If you're already set to go, we're going to have our first song. This is called The 10 Commandments of Love. All the words will come up on the screen. You're allowed to do some actions to this as well if you want, but just make sure you've got enough room to swing your arms, don't hurt yourself. 10 Commandments of Love. Go.
I love you, you love me, we love friends and family, everyone that we know, everyone that we don't. Love the Father, love the Spirit, love the Son. Just love each day as it comes, the 10 Commandments of love. I love you, you love me, we love friends and family, everyone that we know, everyone that we don't. Love the Father, love the Spirit, love the Son. Just love each day as it comes, the 10 Commandments of love. You love me, we love friends and family, everyone that we know, everyone that we don't. Love the Father, love the Spirit, love the Son. Just love each day as it comes, the 10 Commandments of love. The 10 Commandments of love. The 10 Commandments of love.
Who needs Joe Wick, eh? Here's Sue.
Every day since the lockdown began, I've been posting a different book on Facebook. It's just an opportunity to share my favourite books and and say what they mean to me. I love reading. I've always loved reading, and a memory from childhood is my mum taking me to the library, to Torridon Road Library in Catford, where I grew up. And the children's library there was just wonderful. It was a place of adventure, of mystery, a place of exploring. And I just carried that love of reading throughout my whole life. One of the books that I've been reading during the lockdown is this one. It's called Notes on a Nervous Planet. It was given to me by my friend Anna, and it's written by Matt Haig. Matt Haig has suffered with depression and anxiety for most of his adult life, and he's found that books have really helped him cope with the anxiety and with the depression. So I'm just going to read a section of this book to you. This chapter is called Fiction is Freedom. When I was 11, friendless, struggling to fit in at school, I read The Outsiders and Rumblefish and Tex by S.E. Hinton, and I suddenly had friends again. Her books were friends, the characters were friends, and real ones too, because they helped me out. Just as at other times Winnie the Pooh and Scout Finch and Pip were friends too. And the stories they inhabited could be places I could hide inside and feel safe. In a world that can get too much, a world where we are running out of mind space, fictional worlds are essential. They can be an escape from reality, yes, but not an escape from truth. Quite the opposite. In the real world, I used to struggle with fitting in, the codes you had to follow, the lies you had to tell, the laughs you had to fake. Fiction felt not like an escape from truth, but a release into it, even if it was a truth with monsters or talking bears. There was always some kind of truth there. A truth that could keep you sane, or at least keep you, you. So often, reading is seen as important because of its social value. It is tied to education and the economy and so on, but that misses the whole point of reading. Reading isn't important because it helps you to get a job. It's important because it gives you room to exist beyond the reality you're given. It is how humans merge, how minds connect, dreams, empathy, understanding, escape. Reading is love in action. Of all the books that I've shared on my Facebook page, the one that got most people talking is this one, Mallory Towers. I loved the Mallory Towers books when I was a child. I read them and read them and read them so many times. I wanted to be Daryl Rivers. I wanted to go to Mallory Towers. And as an adult, I've been trying to work out what it is about those books that resonated with me. And I think it is something to do with the fact that Daryl and her friends had the opportunity to be something beyond themselves, to be the best that they could be, to have adventures, to go beyond and reach their potential. And that's something that still resonates with me now, that I'm still trying to be the best that I can be, to be that kind person, the person who changes the world. So that's what Mallory Towers means for me. And one thing that we like to do at ReFresh is to invite everybody who comes to ReFresh to join in, to be part of the ReFresh service. And one way that you can do this as we're meeting online is to think about a book that is really special to you, and perhaps record just a short 60-second video saying why that book is so important to you. And we'll if you could just upload it to a Facebook page, we'll try and make that video available to others so that we can share those books that mean something to us. And we've already got somebody to do that. So I'm going to hand over to Varian. She's made a short video about a book that means something to her. So Varian, over to you.
So Sue has asked me to speak about a favourite book of mine, and I've spent quite a bit of time trying to narrow it down to one book, because I kind of think books are like music, that, you know, different books suit different kind of moods. But I think the one book that really resonates with me would be Jane Austen's Northanger Abbey. I read it kind of in my teens, and the protagonist, Cathy Morland, was very similar to me in many ways, because having kind of read a steady diet of romantic novels with the odd Anne Rice kind of interspersed, I was used to my heroes and heroines being the most beautiful, the most wonderful, and suddenly here's Cathy Morland, who is incredibly ordinary, and unlike all the other heroes and heroines, doesn't have some tragic backstory, but just a really ordinary life. And the only thing that kind of causes her any trouble is her overactive imagination. And for me, that is something I totally got, because when I was younger, I used to get immersed in the books that I used to read. And I remember reading Sue Barton, Student Nurse, when I was about 12 or 13, and going into school the next day with kind of all the other girls in our little pinafore dresses. And I totally imagined that we were all student nurses. So yes, if you haven't read it, I absolutely recommend Northanger Abbey.
So my favourite book of all time is either Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance or Lila, which is the follow-up. They're both written by Robert M. Pirsig. They're books which make me think, and they scramble my brain. I'm someone who doesn't like to be told what to think. I'm interested in listening to people who help me to learn more about how to think, and who give me interesting things to think about. I like questions. Questions help us to explore and understand things better. We learn by asking and being asked questions. Jesus always used lots of questions, so I think it's good for us to ask questions too. So I'm going to pick one of my favourite Christian books,